Two endings, two diverging paths in the ruins of grief. In Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the final choice doesn't just shape the world, it asks who you are. Would you live in a life that comforts, or in a truth that hurts? So let's dive a little bit deeper, not just into the story, but what it means. Because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 shows us a reflection of how we grieve, how we cope with it, and how we heal from it. At the game's climax, you have two choices to decide the fate of the canvas. Do you side with Maelle or Verso? This moment doesn't just dictate the ending, it defines what you believe about healing. Each character symbolizes a different stage of grief. Maelle clings to memory, Verso faces reality. What follows is less a battle and more of a psychological test. Psychologically, the narrative of Expedition 33 is structured around Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's model of the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. These stages are not linear. In the world of the canvas, they don't unfold in a strict order. Instead, they intertwine, reverse, and repeat, just like how real grief does. Maelle is stuck in the illusion, a manifestation of denial and a desperate attempt to control what was lost. She wants to preserve the world as it was, clinging to the illusion, while we have Verso, on the other hand, who embodies acceptance. His path hurts, but it's real. Maelle's motivations are a bit deeper than simple denial. She lost her brother, and the world she now protects contains a remnant, a recreated echo of who he was, and refuses to let him go. Even if it's just a copy of his soul, she still chooses to preserve it. To her, forgetting him or allowing the canvas to be erased would be a second death. Her grief is personal. It's not about the world's structure, it's about memory, about him. Her refusal to let go is a defense of identity as much as emotion. She believes preserving the illusion is an act of love. And this is where bargaining comes in. In Act 3, she is constantly trying to plead with her father to not destroy the canvas. She believes that as long as she can keep Verso's world alive, she can avoid the pain of finality. This is her emotional bargaining, not just with her father, but with fate itself. She's trying to negotiate her way out of grief, which then leads her to anger. When her pleas don't work against her father, her grief turns to rage. She fights her own father. She resists Renoir's truths. She sees his attempts to erase the canvas not as mercy, but as betrayal. In her anger, she's fighting off reality. And then there's depression. Throughout the story, especially during the key emotional moments, she's weighed down by sorrow. She knows deep down that Verso is gone, and that the illusion is slowly unraveling. That knowledge eats away at her. Her world that she created is vibrant, but her spirit is dimmed. And then we have the final stage of grief: acceptance. In the end, if you chose Verso's ending, Maelle finally chooses to let Verso go and put his soul at rest. This allows her to wake up in the real world, accept that Verso is gone, and to finally grieve and let the healing process begin. Verso, on the other hand, is a character that is forged in loss. While Maelle tries to preserve the past, Verso has lived with the knowledge that the world he inhabits is false. He carries the emotional burden of knowing his reality is fabricated, that his memories and experiences are stitched together by others. His choice to destroy the canvas is not born from hatred, but from the longing to break free from an illusion that was never truly his. In many ways, he is the embodiment of existential courage. The decision to face the void, to abandon comfort, and to find meaning without needing it to be painted for him. Philosopher Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning. Verso understands this deeply, that meaning isn't something handed to you. It must be carved out, even through pain. His journey isn't just about escaping the illusion, but about redefining what his suffering means. Simply put, Verso doesn't just want the freedom for himself, he wants others, especially Maelle, to see the truths as well. He tries to show her that preserving the illusion only prolongs everyone's suffering. Maelle's love becomes possessive. Her refusal to let go traps Verso in an internal loop of anguish, denying him peace so she can hold on to an imitation of him. For Verso, this isn't mercy, it's torment. He is not angry at Maelle, but deeply hurt by a lifetime of unending repetition where he's forced to relive memories that aren't truly his own, unable to rest. His fight not only is for freedom, but it's closure for both of them. The game not only draws from philosophical grades, but also from psychological grades. And let me explain why. For example, Plato's allegory of the cave. For those of you who don't know, Plato's allegory of the cave describes prisoners mistaking shadows for reality. Maelle chooses to stay in that cave. Plato's allegory of the cave is about prisoners who've lived their whole lives chained in a cave, only seeing shadows on a wall and believing those shadows are reality. When one escapes and sees the real world, he realizes the truth, but to the others, they refuse to believe him. Plato's allegory of the cave is a story about illusion versus reality, and how painful but necessary it is to confront the truth. For Maelle, she cannot open her eyes to face reality, refuses to, and for not allowing Verso's soul to rest makes her selfish. Some of the other philosophical greats, such as Friedrich Nietzsche, argued that suffering is essential for growth. Verso walks that path, and Kierkegaard said despair is living out of sync with your true self. That's Maelle, stuck in a world that no longer exists. The canvas is referenced several times throughout the story of Expedition 33, and canvases are more than just art. They're memory, identity, and trauma. Erasing them is forced forgetting. The life to paint ending preserves the lie. The life to love ending destroys the illusion so the healing process can begin. It's not pretty, but it's human. Just like Renoir said,
"We must accept things as they are, not how we want them to be."
Psychologist Bessel von der Kolk wrote that unprocessed trauma doesn't vanish, it lives in the body. Maelle's ending is a fantasy where her trauma is never faced. Verso's choice, through pain, opens the door to long-term healing. It's violent, it's raw, but it matters. Renoir is the quiet backbone of this tragedy. To others, he seems harsh, a destroyer, but in truth, he's the only one who sees that the canvas is not salvation, but sedation. He doesn't erase out of cruelty, but necessity, because sometimes mercy looks like destruction. And with that, it becomes clear throughout the game that Renoir was right the whole entire time. So what would you choose, comfort or clarity? Maelle paints a world where pain is frozen in time. Verso tears it down in order to feel again. Clair Obscur doesn't really give an easy answer. It gives you a mirror and asks, what are you still holding on to? Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a story about grief and how we handle it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what your own interpretation of the endings are, and what did you originally choose at first when you first played Expedition 33? Also, don't forget to like the video, it always helps out the channel, and share this video around with others, and consider subscribing if you want to see more in-depth analysis on your favorite video game characters. I'll definitely be making some videos on some, so let me know if there's any you want to see. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, think deeper, play smarter.